Hello everybody, I hope you are having a fantastic day. I am here today to do my book wrap-up of October, November and December because I haven't done wrap-ups for a very long time. It's been a while. My hair looks awful today. It's actually really smooth, but it's just looking very dry. I do apologise. Anyway, the first book I have on my list is Amelia, Fang and the Barbaric. This is by Laura Ellen Anderson and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It's got a 4.14 on Goodreads, published by Egmont. It's 212 pages long. It's a children's sort of Halloween story, and this is about a young girl whose mother is holding a ball, and she does this every year, but this year the king is coming and so is his son, but Amelia doesn't like him that much, but maybe she'll have a change of heart. Who knows? Next I have on my list that I read in the 3 months is Grief is a Thing with Feathers. My copy has disappeared into the abyss of my mother's room because I gave it to her to read. So I don't know where it is. But yes, this is by Max Porter. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. It has a 3.9 on Goodreads and it's published by Faber and Faber. It's 114 pages long. It's a poetry fiction contemporary and it follows a father and his 2 boys after their mother's death and how their friend the crow is helping them with their grief. It's beautifully written. It's absolutely heartbreaking and you will just cry throughout it, but it is something that you will be happy that you read. So definitely check that out. I've now gone completely somber in the mood, but let's just lift it up with something a bit more thrilling. This is something I got as a NetGalley proof, and this is Untraceable by S.R. Johannes, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. It's got a 3.92 on Goodreads. It's published by Coleman and Stott. It's 314 pages long. It's a YA mystery adventure, and this follows Grace, whose father is a wildlife officer and goes missing in the woods, and she will stop at nothing to find the truth about what happened to her father and if he really is dead or he is just missing. So yes, it was absolutely fantastic. I loved it and I cannot wait to read the next 2 in the series. Next I have a proof that I got from Oxford University Press, and I thank you so much for this proof. This is Electrigirl and the Deadly Swarm, and this is by Jo Cotterill and Cathy Brett. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. This has a 4.76 on Goodreads. It's published by Oxford University Press. It's 240 pages long, a children's sort of comic fantasy, and it's basically the second in the series of the Electrigirl adventures against Cavallo, who is the villain. But basically this girl gets, this sounds scary, but she gets electrocuted and she now has superhero powers. So yes, you just have to go and read it. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a mixture of comic strip and writing, and it's just the perfect combination of the 2, and I really can't wait to read the 3rd in the series. Next I have something that I do have on me. I swear it was here. Oh, here it is. Oh dear, there we go. Something else fell on the floor. It's just everything falls on the floor in my room. Next we have a middle grade I wanted to read because it was part of my spooky reads, and this is called Isadora Moon Goes on a School Trip, and this is by Harriet Muncaster, and I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. It's got a 4.11 on Goodreads and it's published by Oxford University Press. I'm always going to say like OUP, but I really should elongate it because people obviously don't know or might not know what I'm shortening. But yes, it's 128 pages long. It's a children's Halloween and friendship story, and it's basically about this girl called Isadora Moon, who is half vampire, half fairy, and she goes with her school on a school trip to a haunted house, but not everyone is excited about going to a haunted house. And they meet a friendly ghost, or is it just her that thinks it's a friendly ghost, unfortunately? But she tries to convince the others that he's a very friendly ghost, like Casper. And yes, that's probably what drew me to reading this. But yes, I really enjoyed it. It's a very cute story and great for kids who are just in that middle bit of like chapter books and reading, because it's quite big print. It's still got pictures in it, and it's easy to digest. Next on my list I have A Gentleman in Moscow, and this was I can't remember now. It was one of the books of the month. I think it was November. Or yes, I'm pretty sure it was November. Or October. But this is A Gentleman in Moscow, and it's by Amor Towles, and I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. It's got a 4.37 on Goodreads. It's published by Windmill Books. It's 462 pages long. Yes, this is a fatty, so if you're going to dive into this, be ready. This is historical fiction and Russian history in the mix. It follows Count Rostov, who is under house arrest in the 1920s in Moscow in a hotel, and it follows how society changes over time in Russia and how it affects his life through to, I'm pretty sure, about 1960s. So yes, it's a very interesting take on how society changes and how it affects people, but also a thrilling story, but at a slow pace, I would say. That's why I didn't give it so many stars, because I felt it's one of those books you read and kind of put down and then pick up again, and it takes a while to read, but it was really well written and really interesting, and I really enjoyed the characters, so you should try and check this out if you can deal with the thickness. Ooh. The next thing I read was Father Christmas's Fake Beard, and this is by Terry Pratchett. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. It's got a 3.93 on Goodreads. It's published by Doubleday, and it's 208 pages long. And this is Christmas fantasy short stories, children's, and it's basically a collection of Christmas hilarious short stories, and they all are absolutely ridiculous, and I do mean ridiculous. They're so ridiculous, and throughout you've got these fantastic illustrations that are absolutely hilarious. Just add so much to it, and they're done by Mark Beach, so yes, you should definitely check this out if you would like some laughs. Next on the list I have Almost Midnight, and this is by Rainbow Rowell, and the illustrations are done by Simini Blocker, who I'm pretty sure does the covers for most of Rainbow Rowell's books. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, and it has a 4.23 on Goodreads. It's published by Macmillan. It's 144 pages long. It's a YA short story, contemporary, and it's basically, this is 2 festive romance short stories, one set on New Year's Eve and one about Star Wars, so if you are a Star Wars fan, you should definitely check this out. And my review sticker is coming off, so annoying. But yes, I really enjoyed this. They were really cute, easy to read, and yes, I devoured this in about a day. So yes, definitely check this out if you're a fan of Rainbow Rowell or contemporary. This is really annoying me now. It's not going to come off. if you're a fan of contemporary and romance stories. Next on the list we have A Polar Bears Explorers Club by Alex Bell and illustrated by Tomislav Tomic. This I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. It's got a 4.28 on Goodreads and it's published by Faber and Faber. It's 352 pages long. It's a fantasy children's and it's about a girl called Stella who wants nothing else in the world but to be an explorer, and she goes on an expedition with her father, but something goes wrong and they get split up and she has to make the deadline of the ship just before when it's leaving with her few friends. So yes, it's a fantastic adventure. I really enjoyed it. The reason I didn't give it 5, I think, is probably because I felt it was a bit too chunky, a bit too long, and I really would have liked a few more illustrations from Tomislav. So yes, definitely check this out if your kids love adventure stories. Last but not least, I have to show you this. I think I'm getting old. Too many books. Too many carrying of books. Last but not least, I have on my list, I read Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls. And this is by Elena Favilli and Francesca Cavallo. I think it's Cavallo. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. This has a 4.46 on Goodreads. It's published by Particular Books. It's 212 pages long, and it's a non-fiction short story children's collection, and it's basically the stories of the most influential women throughout history, and it's done for it can be read to at the age of like 3, and kids can probably read it from the age of like 6 onwards, I would say. It's a beautiful collection of short stories. The illustrations in here are, as you can see, absolutely fantastic and completely different on each page. I did really like it and I found it really interesting, but I also kind of wanted a bit more information. I found some of the stories didn't give enough information about the women's lives. I know it's for very young ages, but I would have liked a few more facts in there. But apart from that, I absolutely loved it, and I'm definitely keeping this for my kids. And I tagged all the influential women that I really want to research and find out more about. As you can see, there's quite a lot of them. But yes, you should definitely check this out. It's a great present for anyone. That is everything I have read in the months of October and November and December. Let me know in the comments down below what you've been reading for the last 3 months. I hope you have a fantastic day, guys. Give this a thumbs up if you like this video, and if you are new to my channel, you can click the subscribe button below and the little bell if you want to see more of me talk about books, films, TV shows and comics. I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye bye.